it finally happened. I got to go see Denis Villeneuve's new film, Dune. We've been hearing a lot about Dune the past, I don't know, how long has it been? A few years now. Obviously with COVID-19, it got delayed a bit, but it's out in theaters now. So if you're watching this, hopefully you watched it, and hopefully we can find some common ground in the review process. I'm Gabriel Fast, and I do claim to be the Wannabe Critic. Let's get into it. So Dune, released in 2021, directed by Denis Villeneuve, however you want to say it. The only thing I've ever seen by Denis Villeneuve is Arrival, which I did not like Arrival, so there's that. But still, it's one of those movies where I had to make a video on it. This isn't my regular content. I've done movie reviews in the past. I'm in front of the camera a lot, talking about stuff a lot, and I've kind of steered clear from movies, but who knows? Maybe I should start doing them more. Who knows? But let's get into it. Let's get to the basic gist of the movie first, shall we? So first things first. House Atreides is brought to the planet Arrakis by the Emperor, which we don't know a lot about, to oversee spice refinement and get things back on track from the planet Arrakis. Spice is a highly valuable hallucinogenic found within the Dune planet Arrakis. House Atreides has a lot of clout and could be a threat to the Galactic Imperium, so naturally, they gotta go. What better way to take out a house with a lot of power than to bring them to a new planet, put them in a new place, and kind of pull the rug out from under them right whenever they first get there? Seems like a solid plan to me. By the first 30-45 minutes of the movie, we get that the entire thing has been a ploy to wipe out this House Atreides and get someone else in power who is seemingly less ambitious and will probably just follow orders. That's very much the cliff notes. This is a spoiler-free discussion for the most part, so I didn't want to, do a super deep dive into everything. I feel like that was the best way to put all my thoughts together and, make sure I could kind of relay the gist of the film to you. Let's talk about the cast. So let's talk about Timothee Chalamet as Paul Atreides. So for me, this is the role that has finally made me like this guy. I saw him in that movie, what was it called? Right, it was the Woody Allen movie on Netflix called A Rainy Day in New York, where he played Gatsby. I kind of started to like him, but I don't know, he just kind of had this air about him, right? And obviously he's kind of like the new hotness, and people have been hyping this guy up a lot, so I wasn't sure if I was going to like him in this role. But man, was I wrong about this guy. He has acting chops. He totally delivered in this role. Totally made me buy into what is going on and what his role was in the movie. And it's no doubt that this guy, he's a massive star. He has the star power. He is going to be one of the greats, for sure. With all the different aspects of the movie that are kind of going on, I don't want to give away too much in this review, but he totally sells it with his part. And obviously, if you've seen the first Dune movie, you would know a little bit about what his role is. And I really, really enjoyed him. So there you have it. Next for the cast, let's talk about Oscar Isaac and Rebecca Ferguson. Another thing about this movie that I really liked was Timothée Chalamet's parents, Oscar Isaac and Rebecca Ferguson, they totally nail it. You totally believe that Timothée Chalamet could have, been birthed and been, conceptualized by these two people. I thought they nailed it with the casting. I thought it was freaking super duper smart, smart all the way around. Oscar Isaac's kind of playing the strong patriarch figure, whereas Rebecca Ferguson is kind of playing the strong matriarch and semi-mysterious matriarch figure. It totally made sense. It totally made sense for Timothée Chalamet's character to be, the offspring of these two people, and I totally bought it. I loved it. I loved Jason Momoa in this movie. He's playing Jason Momoa, but I don't know, this role, it kind of felt a little bit different. Jason Momoa playing Duncan Idaho, kind of like the big brother, role model-esque role for Timothée Chalamet's character. They had really, really good chemistry. That's something I didn't say before is Timothée Chalamet had really good chemistry with everyone on screen, which I think is a big testament to the acting of Denis Villeneuve, or Villeneuve, however you want to say it. I totally bought all of the roles in this movie, and I thought everyone did an exceptionally good job, but especially whenever it came to Jason Momoa's relationship with Timothée Chalamet, they totally nailed that on-screen chemistry. And Jason Momoa kind of playing the typical BA character that he usually plays, but almost kind of puts himself in a his character, is kind of acknowledging he has flaws. He acknowledges in the movie a couple times, he's I crossed swords with this guy and I almost died, basically, which, we wouldn't see Jason Momoa's character afraid of much based on his recent things that he's been in the past, but still, I love seeing that side of him. I think Jason Momoa is going to continue to be kind of a class act whenever it comes to action storytelling. Like he's the guy for it. So I didn't really catch, I went and saw Dune like last night at the time of filming this. I didn't really catch what the bad guy's name was in this movie, but holy crap is he disgusting and he's gross, and I love the mystique around his character and like the not knowing. I mean, this is a bad guy. Like he is a bad dude, and the people, his house and the people rallying to him, like even Batista is in this movie. Batista totally sells it. And that was one thing I kind of like too, is like the vulnerability that like Batista kind of showed emotionally, just in quick little moments. Like it totally shined through. Same thing with Jason Momoa. Like his emotional vulnerability in some aspects totally shined through. But the bad guy in this movie, man, like he is like just stone cold. Like we're getting down to business. We're doing this thing. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I can't wait to see more of that character in particular. I wanted to talk about the planet Arrakis itself. First thing that came to my mind was like, wow, George Lucas totally ripped Tatooine. George Lucas totally ripped Arrakis off, and that's what Tatooine is. It is. I mean, Arrakis is like a 1-for-1 shot almost of Tatooine. Giant sandworms engulfing everything. Sand collectors from a mining era. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of similarities, and I mean, obviously you have to take your inspirations from somewhere, but still, like, this is a little on the nose. There's so much Star Wars inspiration here and so much sci-fi inspiration in general that you can be found. You know, obviously this is an adaptation of the book that came out 50 years ago or whatever, but still, you can see so much modern sci-fi in this movie. This movie is a slow burn. Like, it definitely feels like a more old-fashioned experience. If you're going into this expecting it to just be, you know, explosions nonstop like Star Wars and like have that kind of similar feeling, you're going to be disappointed. This isn't that at all. This is a political intrigue piece with sprinkles of action. And there's other elements too, but I don't want to, you know, I would consider those spoilers. I went into this movie like not knowing anything about the world, not knowing anything about any of the lore, nothing, and I was just totally blown away. Arrakis is beautiful. It's so well shot. Like the cinematography is amazing. You forget that this is all CGI. Like, it is such an immersive experience if you can just like be open-minded and get your head wrapped around like this bigger idea. I mean, it's just so good. Like, I loved every second of this movie just based on how immersive the whole thing was. I immediately wanted to watch it again. It gave me vibes of like this is this generation's like Lord of the Rings almost. Like, this is going to be like the epic like saga that people are going to be like craving to go to the movie theater for, and that's just going to be like relatively loved by most people that are going to go watch it. So there you have it. Obviously, you know, the sandworms are super duper cool. There's so many just cool ideas and so many ideas that are so ahead of their time in this movie. And obviously it's not Denis Villeneuve's, you know, ideas. It's Frank, what's his name's ideas that wrote the book. I loved this movie. I can't wait for a part 2. And ultimately I think everything was super duper well executed. The only criticism I have is, you know, it is kind of hard to catch everything they're saying. The particular theater I was in, they could have bumped up the sound a little bit. It's one of those things where I love watching movies at home because I can turn on subtitles. It's common sense. You're able to hear something and read something. It's double the information going into your mind rather than just one way to obtain that information. So you're inherently going to get more if you're able to read what's actually happening while watching what's happening at the same time. There's so many like things about this movie though that I do feel like if you're going into this expecting like an action-packed thing, especially since it was kind of billed as being that a bit, you know, semi-mysterious with some action things in the trailer, you know, you're going to be disappointed. But if you go into it with an open mind, knowing that it's going to be a bit of a slow burn and knowing that this is something completely different than anything you've ever seen before, then I think you'll be super duper happy with your experience. So that's what I think, though, of Dune. What did you think of Dune? Did you like Dune? I loved Dune, as you can totally tell. If I had to give Dune a score, well, I don't think it's a 10 out of 10. I do think it is a visual masterpiece, and I think it's a movie that we're going to be looking at for a long time. I think I'm going to have to give it a 9 out of 10. But what did you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for... But what did you think? I would love to know what you think about the movie. What were your favorite parts? Definitely let me know it in the comments down below. And before I go, check this out. Well, whatever possessed you to check out any of the content that you saw today, I just want to say thank you so much for doing so. If you check the description down below, you'll see that there's a variety of different projects that I'm associated with. This is Wannabe Critic Productions after all. So I just wanted to say, if you enjoyed what you saw today, consider giving some of those other projects a chance as well. There's a lot of stuff that I'm a part of that that I do. If you were here for me or for someone else that you saw today, again, just thank you for checking it out, and I hope to see you again. But until next time, I'm Gabriel Fast, and I'll always be the Wannabe Critic.